person to person. Even for people who don't feel sick or know they're infected, the virus can spread when people breathe, talk, cough, or sneeze. When you need to go out, wear your face covering or mask.
We'll have to prepare for the next one. That, I'd say is will get attention this time.
Is our insistence now on wearing masks. I mean, masks are very important. They protect you from giving infection to someone else.
We will shut you down. We will cite you. And if we need to, we will arrest you and we will take you to jail.
You know the old expression about snitches? Well, in this case, snitches get rewards.
Communities, Eastern Iowa communities,
Mid-Michigan communities.
We are extremely proud of the quality, balanced journalism that CBS 4 News produces.
But
Plaguing our country.
the sharing of biased and false news has become all too common on social media.
Exactly what people think, and this is extremely dangerous to our
Stories without checking facts first.
The sharing of biased and
false news has become all too common on social media.
It's a pandemic. These people wear the mask. Putting my health at risk. Ooh, baby like that. Baby like 7-Up. Just like mama. Selfish.
It's Lucy and Jeff going for walks and talks, talk about banksters and Bitcoin and globalists and stuff. It's Lucy and Jeff and tacos and kisses. How you doing today, Lucy? Oh, pretty good. I went to the doggy dentist and they put me to sleep, which isn't all that much different from my normal day. And I went with Bruce, who's coming for a walk with us today. Then maybe we'll get some tacos. Well, those of you who have followed me, especially my personal channel, years ago, you might remember this area. I used to live here, so I thought I'd come back up and check it out. It's a beautiful place to walk as well. And if you haven't checked, like, for example, if you are depressed or kind of alcoholic, which actually is pretty much you're just depressed, or have traumas, if you don't know how to love yourself and all these kind of things, that's kind of stuff I talked about for like a year. And I used to walk around here with 7 of my dogs. Today we only have 2. We just have Bruce and Lucy. So I'll have to link that down below if you're interested in all that kind of philosophical and self-help type stuff. And I really want to thank Benny Wills and Joy Camp for that intro video, which is so perfect. And I can't believe it's only got a few thousand views. I don't know how much work he put into that, but it looks like a lot. The special effects and everything. So I'm gonna have the link to it down below. Just make sure, if you have the time, to go over there, subscribe to their channel, and give them a like, and share that intro video. We'll have the link, as I said, down below. That was really well done. And so perfect, because that's exactly what is going on in the world today. There's people who sit in front of their oblong box in their living room and they're hypnotized and basically brainwashed. And no matter what we say, they can't even hear us. And there's pretty much billions of people like that right now. We're going to get into all this. It's another crazy episode. I have no shortage of things to talk about this year. But that is actually the case. So great job by Benny. Benny's a good friend of mine. He was the MC at Anarchapulco this year, which I still can't believe was this year. As soon as that was over, everything went crazy. It was pretty surreal in retrospect, because I can't imagine in any way, shape, or form how there could be an Anarchapulco in 2021 that's anything like it was this year, just based on the travel restrictions and all that kind of stuff. Although Mexico is still one of the best countries in the world to travel to, but you can't travel through anywhere else. So if you're coming from Australia or something, which a lot of people did, there's no direct from Australia. Well, you can't even leave Australia. So there you go. So most people are prisoners right now, and probably for at least the next 4 or 5 years, according to the World Bank. That's when they said they're going to end this operation. So anyway, as I've said before, but in case you missed it, I am not making any decisions on what Anarchapulco will be in 2021 until at least November. And if I had to guess right now, it'll be something like camping. It'll be basically free. You can stay at the Princess Hotel if you want, if you can get to Mexico. And maybe we'll have a few things there. But I actually heard, there's a guy named Michael Nimitz, and he runs something called an Acapulco 365/7 or something like that. Basically, the meaning of it is it's an Acapulco every day. He was telling me that 5 to 10 people per week are moving to Acapulco right now. So he said even if no one came from outside of Acapulco, he expects there to be hundreds and hundreds of people here anyway. So it might still be like 1,000 people, but we'll see. I'm not making any decisions till November. And so talking about more craziness, there's a great website. It's called Stop World Control at stopworldcontrol.com. I have a link to it down below. It's a great website to send someone who's starting to wake up. Once again, most people are completely hypnotized and brainwashed, so they are unable. Like if you send them this video, you know what they'll actually hear me saying? It'll be like they're listening to a different language. It'd be like, I know a little Cantonese. Yao mo gao cha wa, zhong mak guai ya, le ha ma. That's what it would be like for them if they don't speak Cantonese. They'd be like, I don't know why you sent me that vid. Because that's how the programming works. When you say something that goes against their programming, it's like a radio, like it's a different frequency on a radio station, basically. So all they hear is static. But if you know some people who might not be 100% brainwashed, and that's not many people, this is a good website to send them, and they have some great information on it. I'm not going to play some of the videos they have on there because it'll probably get me blocked or banned off of YouTube. But it says, a group of over 500 medical doctors in Germany called Doctors for Information made a shocking statement during a national press conference. The corona panic is a play. It's a scam, a swindle. It's high time we understood that we're in the midst of a global crime. This large group of medical experts publishes a medical newspaper on 500,000 copies every week to inform the public about the massive misinformation in the mainstream media. They also organize mass protests in Europe, like the one on August 29th, where 12 million people signed up and several millions actually showed up. Why do these 500 plus medical doctors say the plandemic is a global crime? What do they know that we don't? Actually, nothing. We know this, but for your average person reading this might be new information for them. Sorry, 1 second. I brought Bruce and I knew he was going to cause some problems. So he's basically in a standoff with these dogs. Bruce? Bruce Ben? Hola. Oh, qué lindos. Qué lindos. I know, Bruce. I know you're angry. That's why I named Bruce Lee. So I'm going to have to hold Bruce for a while while we let the dogs pass. But we'll get back to this website and what they were saying. In Spain, a group of 600 medical doctors called Doctors for Truth made a similar statement during a press conference. COVID-19 is a false pandemic created for political purposes. This is a world dictatorship with a sanitary excuse. We urge doctors, the media, and political authorities to stop this criminal operation by spreading the truth. Germany and Spain are just two examples. Similar large groups of hundreds of medical experts exist in countries across the world. In the USSA, a documentary called Plandemic, which exposes COVID as a criminal operation, is supported by over 27,000 medical doctors. Why are these thousands of medical professionals worldwide saying the plandemic is a crime? What information do they have access to that we are not getting from the lamestream media? Muy bien, Bruce. Eat some salad. We'll fight another day. So that website goes on and on. I'm not going to read it all, obviously. But there was one piece of information on there that I hadn't seen before. And it says, in 2015, a system and method for testing for COVID was patented by Richard Rothschild with a Dutch government organization. Did you catch that? In 2015, 4 years before the disease even existed, a testing method for COVID-19 was developed. So that's interesting. I haven't looked into that one, but the Rothschilds, the Dutch government, that queen over there, that Queen Bitches or whatever her name is, were planning for this like 4 or 5 years ago. Oh, I'm so shocked. Yeah. And of course, the website goes on to show all kinds of information. So it's actually a really good place to go just for like lots of good things showing how this was all planned for. And of course, what is all these plans led the world into being, for the most part? Well, Here's what it looks like to enter into a hair salon in this part of the world. I don't know where it is. It looks like the sign's in Spanish, but it could be anywhere really. But this is where their plans have led a lot of people. Yeah, put everything in plastic bags, put plastic around your hands, put plastic around your shoes, rub yourself with toxic cancer-causing chemicals, and be scared of everyone. I just find this stuff hilarious now. I don't even care. I walk by everyone who tells me to do stuff. Like, literally, they'll be like, hey, you have to stop it. I'll be like, no. And sometimes they'll say like, hey, and I'll be like, hey. Most of this stuff is like voluntary, but people are very, very susceptible to being submissive. And that's all taught in the government indoctrination camps for 12 years, the colleges, the mainstream media, all that kind of stuff. So you got to wonder what's next. Well, to the tune of the Bee Gees, Staying Alive. Yeah, that guy was a little extreme. Really, all you need, and everyone said this, the WHO, which, by the way, for YouTube, listen to everything they say. Whatever they say, you do, okay? Everyone. CDC, Bill Gates, Fauci, they all say, all you really need to do, even the CDC director, who's the creepiest guy I've ever seen, said, you know, we don't even really need, the vaccines probably aren't going to be as effective as wearing a mask. All those years training in biological warfare, it turns out all that is required is a cloth or paper mask. This is going to save the Department of Defense billions. And just like with everything, they're like, no, this shouldn't obstruct your breathing wearing these masks. Oh, really? If masks don't affect your breathing, why are people with breathing difficulties exempt from wearing one? Whoo, these hills, I forgot about these hills. I'm sweating, starting to sweat here. It's not that hot, but these are some steep hills. And, you know, a lot of all this stuff is that the cult in general has been really, for decades, coddling everyone. And I saw this image, and this image I so get. Because I literally, to use the phrase of today, or maybe that's old now, I don't know, I don't pay attention. But literally in the 1970s, this was me. And today, wrap everyone in bubble wrap, put masks on them, just to make sure that they don't get sick. And hey, I totally get it. Everyone's dying, everyone. Like the prime murderer in England, he died. Fauci got it, he died. Tom Hanks got it, he died. Everyone. I barely know anyone. They're all dead. So, you know, we really gotta just keep doing whatever they tell us. And, you know, this is really what a lockdown should really look like. But yeah, it's super bad, guys. In fact, I got some new information here. This is from the CDC for all the fact checkers. Yeah, fact checkers. Love you guys. You check your facts so good. This is directly from the CDC website. And apparently Robert F. Kennedy Jr. posted it. It's new CDC data. This is your chance of dying by age group from 0 to 19 years old. 0.00003. From 20 to 49, which I actually fit into that category for another month or so. So I'm going to be, well, right now, I only have a 0.0002 chance of dying from this, which is pretty bad. Like, I'd be okay with staying inside forever, just in case. But in a couple of months, I'm going to be in the next age category, 50 to 69 years old. Then it gets really bad. You have a 0.005 chance of dying. And if you're over 70, and just so you know, if you're over 70, you're probably going to die at some point fairly soon anyway. I don't know if this is news to you, but they got it really bad. They only have a 0.054 chance of dying from this. By the way, those are all better than the seasonal flu. But again, the grand majority of the world has been putting to government indoctrination camps, basically prison for children, for 12 years, and they're beaten out of them, sometimes literally, sometimes figuratively, any ability to think. You're supposed to just memorize what they say for 12 years. Well, that's caused so many people to not understand numbers. I think probably the best example of this are the people who play the lottery. I had a friend in high school, and he bought a lottery ticket once, and he was like sure he was going to win. He was like, yeah, these numbers just came to me. I know it's going to win. So he's only had a few $100, but he spent it all that weekend. And then, what a shock, he didn't win the lottery. And then I had to lend him money. So he also, I don't think, quite understood the odds of winning the lottery. Well, you basically have similar odds of dying from this thing. And you know, when you get to 0.0000 anything, that's a rounding error at that point. Not to mention, look around you, especially if you live in a place like the US. Half those people are morbidly obese. All they eat is McDonald's. They're drinking all the time. They're on all kinds of government-approved pharmaceuticals. These people will likely die fairly soon anyway of anything. So those are probably the ones when you get down to 0.000, and then it's them. Like, wow, I've said it for the last 6 months. I don't know if I have to say it anymore. This thing basically doesn't even exist. It doesn't exist in terms of, should you worry about it? Well, if you worry about anything where you have a 0.00001 or 5 chance of dying, you probably shouldn't ever leave your house. And I guess that's what a lot of people are doing anyway. Especially in places like the USA. Now, I know there's a lot of places in the US where a lot of people aren't falling for this. I get messages all the time. I'm in Idaho, I'm in Dakota, or some of these, like Montana, and like no one's wearing masks, no one cares. So I know there is some, but there's a lot. You go to New York, LA, all these places. A lot of people actually are so concerned about a 0.00005% chance of dying that they've been hiding in their house all year. And should I not point out, in the home of the brave. Oh, and the land of the free, where you can't really go outside anymore. You're not allowed to do anything. Pretty incredible. And you know it's really bad. And it is so bad, guys. Let's, take a moment and mourn, all the people we all know who have died from this. Man, the list is so long. Actually, I don't know anyone who's even had a sickness in the last 6 months. But it's really bad when the government is trying to pay people to give them some sad stories about the COVIDs. Up in communist Canada, you could make $2,000 for sharing your COVID story as part of a government campaign. And total propaganda here at the start. No one should have to experience being hospitalized for the COVIDs. But if you've already lived through the nightmare, see all the propaganda there? Hardly any, the hospitals are empty. I actually don't know of anybody talking about the nightmare of living through the COVIDs. I know there's a few, and they're usually on CNN and all that, and maybe there is a couple. But look at the intro to that. And then it goes on to say, a casting agency, so actors, is urgently seeking people in Montreal who are willing to share their story and how they've been hospitalized for the COVIDs. And you'll get $2,000 for the job. No previous acting experience is required. I like that one. I guess they're not really crisis actors in this case. They're just kind of like, make up a story. Like, there's a lot of people who need a lot of money. I don't know about you, but if I had no money, couldn't even afford to eat, couldn't afford to pay my rent, I got a COVID story. Oh, it was a nightmare. Barely made it through. Oh, I had the sniffles. My toes were a little blue. And the worst part, this is the worst part. I had the bloss. Can I get my $2,000 please? And you gotta love it too, because that's the government stealing the money from people and then giving them some of it if they help them put out propaganda. I'm having a great time. When this first started, I was a little angry, I have to admit. I was a little unhappy about what was going on. But now I hope this goes on forever. I hope, just keep going. It's not really affecting me. I'm making tons of money, go wherever I want. Basically, I can't really internationally travel that easy, but working on a boat. But this is just good, hilarious stories, non-stop. Now, there was a anti-lockdown protest in Canada. There's a fair amount of Canadians, not tons, but a fair amount, who realize what's going on. And here was one in Toronto in the last few days.
Hugs over masks. And I've been out every day downtown on the buses, in stores without a mask, and not afraid of it at all. I'm from Guelph. We had 9 deaths. All of them were in a Norfolk retirement home, St. Joe's Recovery, and our Guelph General Hospital. And they were all over the age of 70.
So yeah, this is fun. It's fun to see all these people. It's like being in a giant amusement circus, and almost everyone's like in the ride except for you. And you're just watching them. It's like, oh my gosh, what do they do now? Now, of course, there's some negatives, right? But in general, like I'm here in Mexico. Everything's almost totally fine. And I said that for a long time. And it's because most people don't listen to the government here. Some people do watch TV, and you see some people with masks, but no government's involved in anything yet. And we'll see. But so far, so good. And I mentioned I was betting on the Tampa Bay Lightning to win the Stanley Cup based on gematria from a guy on YouTube. And I actually got one thing wrong. I thought he said Tampa Bay was going to win in 5 games, so I put quite a bit on Tampa in game 5. But it turns out he said in his comment section that he changed it to 6 games after they changed the start date of the series, because it's all based on dates and numerology and all that. So that me missing that one part made me lose a few Bitcoin, but then once I realized they're going to win in 6, I put quite a bit on game 6. And all told, I made well over 2 Bitcoin, about 20,000. I didn't add it all up. It's quite a bit to add up. And I said I was going to give him 10%, so I am. And so I went on his channel, and there was a bunch of people from the Dollar Vigilante there, and they're all saying, Jeff owes you money, Jeff's going to pay you money. So he put up his PayPal address, and I responded that, yeah, I'm going to send it to him, but I'm not going to pay him in dirty Masonic fiat currency notes. I'm only paying him in things like Bitcoin or Monero. And within an hour, he had a live stream up asking people how to set up a Bitcoin account.
If anybody wants to come in and tell me how you walk me through Bitcoin, explain to me how you're supposed to download an app here. Hi, Jeff. Yeah, thanks for the shout out, man. You helped build up the following. Appreciate it.
So as soon as he figures out how to set up a Bitcoin wallet, actually, maybe I should give him a free subscription to our newsletter. That'll help him out a lot. Bitcoin Basics is one of the books you get with it. But as soon as I get that, I'll send him over a couple $1,000s worth of Bitcoin. Great stuff. He's now picked the last 5 years Stanley Cup winners. That's unbelievable. And he bases it on nothing to do with stats or like which teams got the best players. It's all on gematria and numerology. And he's picked the last 5 years. So it's got me thinking a little bit. I'm not going to talk too much about this, but I'm like, well, they can't, because he actually picks exact scores, the exact amount of games. Now, picking the amount of games they win by, I can get, but actual scores in games, that's, you know, if you ever watch a hockey game, like the puck can just bounce off anything and go in the net. So, and are all these players all in on it? I doubt it. I really doubt it. I know a lot of these hockey guys players. No one's ever mentioned it's a little rigged. So here's my thoughts on it. These gematria guys who seem to be able to pick most of these games and who's going to win the series and the World Series. He's picking the Chicago White Sox, just so you know, so I'm going to put a Bitcoin on that. I think what they've kind of figured out is how this matrix works. And like I said, it's all a 3D video game, right? So they've figured out all the numbers. And I think that's what people like these secret societies, like when you get 33rd degree Mason, or when you're high up in the Jesuits, they give you this information and then you can decode what the game's going to do. I think that's how it works. I'd be very interested to see what he says about that. Because as I was watching, I was like, there's no way all the players are in on this. And even if they were, they couldn't like not make the puck go in by accident every now and then and lose the game that they're supposed to win. So that's my theory on it. And it could be all totally crazy, but I just look at the facts. He's apparently picked the last 5 Stanley Cup winners. That's, if you would have put that on a, like, what they call a parlay, I used to go to the horse races, and pick the next 5 year Stanley Cup winners, you'd get like 10,000 to 1 odds. Easy. So if you put like $1,000, it'd be like millions of dollars. So I just look at it, I'm like, he's onto something. I don't know what it is. I don't know how he does exactly. I don't know why it works, but it seems to work, at least so far. So I'm following him from now on until, oh, there's the dogs again. Let's make sure Bruce doesn't go crazy. But if you're interested in that kind of stuff, a great site is Cloudbet. Just go to dollarvigilante.com/Cloudbet. And they actually contacted me because they heard I mentioned them in my videos. And they let me know that there's all kinds of interesting betting stuff on there. They even have betting on who's going to win the presidential selection. Where's Bruce? Hopefully he doesn't get into a fight with these dogs. Now, I haven't picked yet. I actually picked, if you guys were around 4 years ago, about 2 weeks before the selection, I said, okay, Trump's winning. And the reason was he was at a major Jesuit party with Hillary. And they're just laughing and laughing. And I was like, okay, they're selecting him this year. But I don't know, I haven't made my mind up yet. Here comes another dog. Where's Bruce? Maybe he's down there. Maybe that's why. Here comes another dog. Comes a little kid. I don't know where Bruce is. Lucy, where's Bruce? I don't know, he's crazy. Well, we'll keep walking till we see Bruce. But I haven't made up my mind yet on that one. We'll probably get some clues or hints from the basically the secret societies, the 33, watch for the 33 in regard to Trump or in regards to Biden. So I'll let you know if I make a pick, and you can go bet it on CloudBet. And just so you know, you can bet in Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum. You can even use USDT, which is a stable coin tied to the US dollar. Very interesting stuff. I think a lot more people should be using things like USDT instead of dollars. So much like, forget dealing with banks. You're your own bank. But anyway, so I don't know where Bruce is. There's a whole bunch more dogs now. I remember you. You're a cutie. You grew up quite a bit. You were just a puppy. He's growling, so let's go, Lucy. Oh, there's Bruce. Bruce, Ben, don't get into a fight. I know you wanna. Bruce, Ben. Bruce, Ben. Bruce, Ben. Okay. Okay. Also, another thing just to mention. I mentioned in my last video that Ron Paul was going to write the foreword for my upcoming book, which is coming out in the next 2 or 3 weeks. And let's go this way, Lucy. And then he had what appeared to be a stroke or something. And so I wrote him a really kind email just saying, thank you so much for considering doing it. I heard about what happened. Please just take care of your health. No need to even do anything to help with this book. But then I saw today, he's already up doing videos. Ron Paul is Superman. He like had a freaking hardcore stroke. 2 days later, he's just back at it. So I don't know if he's going to do it or not. But in the meantime, because I want to get this book out, I asked Doug Casey to do it, and he very kindly obliged. So if Ron's watching this, if you still want to write a foreword, no pressure at all, then I guess we'll just have 2 forewords for the book. But I do want to mention that Doug has started doing basically daily video blogs like me. He said I kind of inspired him. And I didn't know about it till today. So if you like Doug Casey, you like hearing his thoughts on stuff, and I totally do. So there's only been about 14 episodes. I've watched 3 already. We'll have the link down below. It's on YouTube. And we just finished up our latest issue. I guess, what is it now? Is it October? I don't even know. Oh no, it's still September. So this is a September issue. I don't know. I've lost all track of time this year. Tons of great information, how to survive. Oh, it's so terrible. The COVID-19!
COVID-19! COVID-19! COVID-19! COVID-19! I blow the wind of God!
Yeah, it's the COVID-19.
COVID-19! COVID-19! COVID-19!
So yeah, my book we're going to do pre-sales for the first couple of weeks, and we'll be announcing that probably in the next week. And hopefully we can get tens of thousands of people to buy. It's going to be less than $10, right? It's not going to be a big moneymaker. But if we can get this to the top of the bestseller, and it's basically exposing all this stuff, the COVID's pandemic, everything, that could be pretty huge. So stay tuned for that. And if you like our TDV summits, or if you wanted to learn from a lot of the sort of experts, we'll be doing another one in November. So that's about it. I think I'll leave it there. We're leaving soon. Probably the next video you see from me will be in a new location. We're going to go on a trip for about a week or a week and a half throughout Mexico. Lucy, Ben? Lucy, we can't finish without you. Lucy, Ben? That's my girl. Yeah. Yeah, and don't forget, we've got some Lucy merchandise, tacos and kisses at dollarvigilante.com/store. And speaking of that, let's go get some tacos.
Wait, this video just scratched the surface. The attacks from big government and central banks are just starting. To survive today's economic chaos, you need to understand topics ranging from Bitcoin and cryptocurrency to the latest misinformation from the Federal Reserve, what the central banks are up to, and how big government is encroaching on your life. Subscribe to this channel now, and don't forget to click the bell beside the subscribe button to make sure you never miss a single video. Take responsibility for your own future and make your personal world a better place. Share this video with your friends and subscribe now. We're all in this together.